Hello, Pete's Packs here, and we're back with episode 66 of Throwback Thursday. This week, we have Code of the Orzhov from Guildpact. Let's see. The Orzhov Guild is in the habit of making offers its enemies can't refuse. Led by sinister undead advisors, it demands loyalty at all costs. The haunt mechanic merely increases the influence the dead maintain over the affairs of the living. Very nice. And it's another hanger pack. I think almost all of our packs for Ravnica block have been hanger packs. Funny enough. Alright. Let's get into this. Now this is the second deck for Guildpact, and our fifth deck from Ravnica. Code of the Orzhov. And we have Julian Newton, who was the world champion in 2004 playing Astral Slide. Only reason I know that is that was the last year that they did World Stacks, and he was the youngest winner for Worlds. He and I are right about the same age. I am a little older. Alright, Code of the Orzhov. So you have a little bit about the different types of new cards, a little bit from the Guildpact storyline. We have our deck list and a little blurb on playing the deck. Let's see. Code of the Orzhov. We have 10 plains, 11 swamp, 2 Orzhov Basilica, 1 Orzhova, the Church of Deals, 1 Martyred Rusalka, 2 Shrieking Grotesque, 1 Belfry Spirit, 1 Plagued Rusalka, 2 Thoughtpicker Witch from Ravnica, 2 Infectious Host from Ravnica, 2 Orzhov Euthanist, 2 Ossuary Thrall, 2 Poison Belly Ogre, 1 Skeletal Vampire, which was an absolute beast in Block Constructed. We have 1 Teysa Orzhov Scion, 2 Souls of the Faultless, 2 Blind Hunter, 2 Asian of Masks, 2 Morning Thrall, 1 Orzhov Guildmage. Then we have 1 Festival of the Guildpact, 2 Hissing Miasma, 2 Strands of Undeath, 2 Castigate, 1 Mortify, and 2 Pillory of the Sleepless. Strands of Undeath and Festival of the Guildpact were both from Ravnica as well. Very nice. Alright. And of course, nice ad for F&M. Just right around when they changed it over to being called F&M. So let's take a look at what we actually have. Alright, we have a Plains with art by Stefan Martinieri. One with art by Christopher Moliere. Plains with art by Anthony S. Waters. Oh, did we lay down an extra one? No, but that's a duplicate. Stefan Martinieri, Richard Wright, Christopher Moliere, and Anthony S. Waters. The rest, of course, are duplicates. From there, then we have our swamps. Love the lands from Ravnica. Art by Stefan Martinieri, Christopher Moliere, Anthony S. Waters, and Richard Wright. Of course, the rest from there are duplicates. And we have our first Karu. well, the only Karu in this pre-constructed deck. We have art by John Avon. Orzhov Basilica. It's a land that comes into play tapped. When it comes into play, you may return, or not may, you return a land you control to its owner's hand, and then it taps for a white and a black. Good old bounce land, aka Karu land. We have 2 copies. Except we have Orzhova, the Church of Deals. This was a really fun way to close out grindy games. Granted, at this time, games didn't get super grindy, but it was still a nice extra win condition. We have art by Martina Pilsarova. It's a land that taps for colorless, and then for 3, a white and a black, tap it. Target player loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. It's very fun. Then we have Martyred Rusalka, art by Alex Horley Orlandelli. For a white, it's a 1/1 spirit that for a white and sacrifice a creature, target creature can't attack this turn. Okay. Except Shrieking Grotesque, art by Danny Orazio. 2 and a white for a 2/1 gargoyle with flying. When it comes into play, if black was spent to play Shrieking Grotesque, target player discards a card. This was actually pretty solid in sealed and in draft as well. It was a decent sized body that could also make your opponent discard. Next up, Belfry Spirit, art by Darren Bader. This was a token producing house at this time. This, along with some of the other cards also in this deck, were absolutely fantastic and block constructed. Art by Darren Bader. 3 white for a 1/1 creature spirit with flying and haunt. So when this creature is put into a graveyard from play, remove it from the game, haunting target creature. When Belfry Spirit comes into play, or the creature it haunts is put into a graveyard, put 2 1/1 black bat creature tokens with flying into play. It doesn't sound like much, but this card was a menace. It was such a pain to deal with this, both in limited and in constructed. Just produced a lot of bodies very easily. Next up, we have Plagued Rusalka, art by Alex Horley Orlandelli. For a black, it's a 1/1 spirit with black and sacrifice a creature. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Just nice repeatable removal with token producers. Thoughtpicker Witch, another great thing to go along with all the tokens that we're creating. This is from Ravnica, art by Pete Ventures. For a black, it's a 1/1 human wizard that you can pay 1 and sacrifice a creature. Look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library and remove 1 of them from the game. The other, of course, goes back on top. So you have information and you have card removal as well. We have 2 copies of Thoughtpicker Witch. Next up, Infectious Host, also from Ravnica, art by RK Post. Pretty iconic piece of art. 2 and a black for a 1/1 zombie. When it is put into a graveyard from play, target player loses 2 life. So you give them nice Devil's Dilemma there. Next up, Orzhov Euthanist, art by Zoltan Boros and Gabor Sizatsky. Sizaksky? I'm bad with names. 2 and a black for a 2/2 human assassin with haunt. When Orzhov Euthanist comes into play, or the creature it haunts is put into a graveyard, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. The only downside is it doesn't have flash. But it's meant to be played far more aggressively than most. Next up, Ossuary Troll, art by Ron Spencer. Definitely in his style. 3 and a black for a 2/2 Thrall that has white tap target creature. This was a giant pain in limited. Poison Belly Ogre, art by Zoltan Boros and Gabor Sizekzai. Sizekzai. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, Gabor, I'm just absolutely destroying your name. But, well, butchering it, rather. Poison Belly Ogre, 4 and a black for a 3/3 Ogre Warrior. Whenever another creature comes into play, its controller loses a life. Nice kind of counter tokens in a lot of ways. This saw much more play in Limited than it did in Constructed, but it was not bad. Next up, Skeletal Vampire, the absolute menace of block Constructed at the time. Art by Wayne Reynolds, also a complete bomb in Limited. 4 black for a 3/3 Vampire Skeleton with flying, and when it comes into play, put 2 1/1 black bat creature tokens with flying into play. And then for 3 black, sacrifice a bat, put 2 1/1 bat creature tokens with flying into play. So you can just keep pumping out bat tokens over and over and over again. And then sacrifice a bat, regenerate Skeletal Vampire. This was a menace, especially with any kind of token doubler, anything along those lines. So, still a very fun card to abuse. But, except Teysa Orzhov Scion. This made it even better. Let's see, art by Todd Lockwood. 1 white for a 2/3 legendary human advisor. Sacrifice 3 white creatures, remove target creature from the game. Whenever another black creature you control is put into a graveyard from play, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying into play. So, if you're able to make all your creatures black, you can just, well, black and white, you can just keep machine gunning down all your opponent's creatures, exiling them, and then making tokens. Plays kind of nice with Skeletal Vampire. So you keep making spirit creatures, and then along with the Belfry Spirit, you just overwhelm your opponent in tokens. Alright, next up, Souls of the Faultless. Art by Pat Lee. White, black for a 0/4 spirit with Defender. Whenever Souls of the Faultless is dealt combat damage, you gain that much life, and attacking player loses that much life. This actually saw some constructed play. It was good at slowing your opponents down, at least a little bit. Especially against the more aggressive strategies in Gruul. Blind Hunter. Art by Warren Mahi. 2 white for a 2/2 bat with flying and haunt. Whenever it comes into play or the creature it haunts is put into a graveyard, target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Keep in mind this is also a bat for the Skeletal Vampire. Another card that was very strong in Limited and very strong in block Constructed. It wasn't bad in Constructed overall at the time either. Agent of Masks, art by Matt Thompson. 3 white for a 2/3 human advisor. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. This card was super annoying and Limited and block Constructed. Also, and just regular Constructed. It didn't see a ton of play, but you'd see like 1 or 2 in Solar Flare lists, just to kind of gum up the board and slow drain your opponent. Especially in control mirrors. You see like 1 or 2 copies in sideboards every now and then. Morning Thrall, art by Danny Arizio. 1 and a hybrid white for a 1/1 Thrall with flying, and whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. This later was errated to lifelink. So, this actually showed up in Pauper for quite some time. Still occasionally pops up, not too often anymore, but it is rather fun when it does. Orzhov Guildmage, art by Greg Staples. Absolutely iconic piece of art. One of my favorite pieces of art from the set. Hybrid white-black for a 2/2 human wizard. 2 and a white, target player gains a life. 2 and a black, each player loses a life. So, great sync for if you're able to produce infinite mana. Also just a good way to drain out your opponents in, for instance, EDH. Alright, Festival of the Guildpact. Art by Alex Horley Orlandelli. This is from Ravnica. X and a white for an instant. Prevent the next X damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Draw a card. Funny enough, you can have XP 0. So this is a backdoor draw a card for a white. You'd be surprised how often this got played just as a single white draw card. It was not 0. Hissing Miasma. Currently the most expensive uncommon in Guildpact. Art by Ben Thompson. 1 black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature attacks you, its controller loses 1 life. No. It's a bit of a stacks piece, I guess. See, Strands of Undeath, again from Ravnica, art by David Alsop. 3 and a black. For an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When it comes into play, target player discards 2 cards. For a black, regenerate enchanted creature. It's nice dual-purpose card for a okay rate. Next up, Castigate. This used to be all over, and I mean all over, Pauper. It's been a minute since I saw much play, but it still pops up every now and then. Art by Daryl Ritchie for a white-black. It's a source for a white and a black. It's a sorcery. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. Choose a non-land card from it. Remove that card from the game. That's pretty darn good hand disruption. We have 2 copies. Next up, Mortify. This was one of the premium pieces of removal in the block. Art by Glenn Angus. 1 white-black for an instant. Destroy target creature or enchantment. This was the second best piece after Putrefy at this point in the block. We had some other good stuff later on, but Putrefy and Mortify made the Abzan colors very strong at this point of Ravnica block. Next up, Pillory of the Sleepless, art by Mark Romanowski. 1 white-black for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. An enchanted creature has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. So this was pacifism on steroids. It ended up showing up heavily in block constructed. It was a good way of locking down your opponent's creature and slow draining them pretty quickly with some of the other stuff that was going on in the set. And we have a beautiful foil forest with art by Christopher Moliere as our guaranteed foil land. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure with Throwback Thursday, episode number 66. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. It really helps us out, and I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.